Hey guys, I wanted to take a few minutes here to talk about my John boat. I use it to bass fish a lot of smaller ponds and lakes around here in Nebraska. I've seen a few of them on YouTube before, but I've never seen them like this, so I just want to show you guys what updates and modifications I've made to this boat. As you can see, it's a bass tracker, 1980s, early 1980s some year. We'll start in the front here. I updated the tongue swing trailer, or tongue swivel trailer, whatever you want to call it, to a Pro Series 100 or 1,000 pound capacity. I got that off Amazon for like 40 bucks. I also replaced the winch up here. It's a pretty small winch, but this boat's really light, so it handles it pretty well. This is probably the best addition that I've made to the boat. It's a Minn Kota Power Drive V2, a 55 pound thrust. And I added what's called the co-pilot to it. It's this little remote here that attaches to your Minn Kota. It's this plate as well that you just screw on with 2 bolts. It's a really simple, easy installation, but it makes it hands-free, which I really like. The foot pedal's all right, but sometimes it can get a little clunky. If you just need to make minor adjustments, I just hang this on my neck and just make adjustments right here. 55 pound thrust moves this boat plenty. So this is the front storage compartment. It's where I put my battery that attaches to this Minn Kota bow mount trolling motor. The wires here just run right through the deck, so it's pretty clean. There's a front light on here too, which runs off the back battery. But I also put life jackets, and then this is the foot pedal. But like I said, I don't use that very much. So yeah, there's the front. We'll move towards the back now. So as you move to the back, you can see along the left side here is where I do my rod storage. They just sit in here, and then the butts of the rods will go over here. And then when I'm riding, I like to use this rod saver just to strap them down. I've got my lure retriever right here, which I just invested in this year. This thing saved me quite a bit of money when you lose something up in a tree or even below the water. You just hook this to your line, jam it down there, and sometimes it pop it loose.
Look at June in the background.
So this boat has some Livewells, which are underneath the seats here. 2 of them. And I've got a water pump in the back, which is run off this front switchboard, which pumps water into them. And then I've got bilge pumps in each one with an aerator. That way it's bubbly. Keep some good oxygen in there for crappie or the fish you're going to want to eat. I added this ram mount to the boat so that it would hold this Lowrance Hook 7. And I've been really happy with it. If I'm fishing from the front of the boat, I can just twist it here and lock it in. That way when I'm making casts from the front of the boat, I can just glance back to see my depth or if there's any fish schooling. It's got down scan, not side scan. This boat obviously isn't super fancy, so I didn't want to get side scan for a $2,000 boat. So I just went with down scan, but it's been awesome. You can see a lot of different things that traditional sonar wouldn't necessarily catch, like trees and brush. Instead of just being a blob, you can see a lot more defined lines. So yeah, that's the Hook 7 Lowrance, and it's got like a little memory card slot right here, and I've got like some sort of lakes chip that plugs in there, and it gives me the lakes in the Midwest. But yeah, this ram mount's really slick. Even in rough water, it handles really well. It's stiff and solid. The wires to that I just ran back through here with all the rest of my other wires, and it runs off the back battery, which also starts the engine. Here's the steering wheel, obviously, and what I did right here, which I've really liked this season, is just a magnet. And there's a magnet on the back side underneath this dash right here that this magnet sticks to. But what this does is if you got spare lures rolling around in your boat and they keep getting hooked in the carpet, what I'll do is I'll just throw the lure on here, and the metal hooks will actually go to this magnet. So I'm winterizing the boat, so I've got it really well cleaned out. So I don't really have a good example, but if you just throw your lure right there, it sticks. And even when you're driving or hauling the boat on the road, the lures won't go anywhere. Here's all my switches. We've got a fill pump, bilge pump, Livewell, anchor light, and nav light. So nav light and then anchor lights in the back. I'm gonna put this case back on here. So when I'm not using this Hook 7, I'll just take it out of the ram mount. I'll lock this up so that it's not going to go anywhere. I'll put the faceplate on, and then I'll stick it into this storage compartment down here. So here's the back storage compartment. It's got plenty of room for engine oil, tackle boxes, anchor. I've also got these that connect to the seats, so when you're getting tired of standing up, you can just pop this right in here, and then boom, you can sit and fish all day. It's pretty comfortable. I've got that for the front as well, but I usually just stand off the front deck. So it can hold your weight pretty well. Something to at least lean against to save your back. So moving back to the motor, take this down, put this back into storage. We've got another light right here when you're fishing in the dark. That's pretty nice. So moving back to the motor, it's a late 80s Mercury 40 horsepower. With a light aluminum boat like this, it can get up to 20 mile an hour if it's just me in the boat. If I've got somebody else in here, it's 17 to 18. The engine, like I said, Mercury 40 horsepower, stainless steel prop on it. I also replaced the transom saver here, which just hooks right into the back of the boat. I also got that off Amazon. It's pretty cheap, and it's done a really good job for such a light motor. Something that I was looking into this year is power poles. Now, I know you're probably thinking that's big time overkill with this boat, but I created something that I saw online. I thought it was a really good idea for kayaks, but since this boat is so light, it also works for this boat. So I bought what I think is a 10-foot or maybe 12-foot fiberglass pole. I've got tape on the end. And when I'm up in the boat and I want to stake this down, especially if it's not windy, if it's really calm, it does a really, really good job. I just stick it through this pipe right here and then shove it down into the water, and it just kind of looks like that. And you can see this pipe here. I don't know if you want to zoom in at all, but it's just bolted, and then I silicone the outside of it right to the outside of the boat, and it's strong. It's really strong, and yeah, it'll keep the boat right where you want it to go. If it's windy, it will, this will be a pivot point, and it'll, the wind will take it left or right depending on which way it's blowing. That sometimes gets a little annoying, but like I said, when it's really calm, it works really well. I got these at Menards. They're waterproof. They're super, super bright. When it's dark, you can see your back lights going back 20 feet probably. So these are really nice. There's a white light underneath here which shines on the license plate to keep that lit up. I bought this little metal holder, I guess you could say, for the license plate off Amazon. It's kind of got the, I don't know, it holds it pretty strong. I recarpeted these bunks so that the bottom of the boat's not getting all scratched up. That's just like an all-weather carpet, and I just stapled it in there. It's just a piece of wood underneath there, which may rot in a few years, but it's doing well for right now. And I got that all-weather carpet at Menards too. I got these Beck straps. There was just ratchet straps on there before, but it was really hitting the back of the boat a lot when you're riding. So I got these off Amazon. I think they were 20 bucks, 15, 20 bucks. They work really well. I'll link it below, that way you can find which one it is. But yeah, they come off really easy. One hook is rubberized, so it's not bouncing around and cutting on this back hook. And then the other one's metal, but it doesn't really matter because that's the one on the bottom. So I'll hook this back up and I'll show you how it works. You just kind of tighten this. You want a little bit of slack, that way it can pull tight. Then you bundle up your extra. Like that, and it's nice and neat, and it holds it really, really well to the trailer. We'll come around the other side here. And you can see this is the scan, or the down scan off that Lowrance, the sonar. I've got the wire really neatly wound up here, and this is really solid. I also siliconed it in there so there's no water leaking into the boat. Something that's really nice about this boat is it doesn't leak. I know these riveted boats that aren't all one piece tend to leak over the years, because I mean the boat's 30 years old now, 40 years. So yeah, siliconing that is big, and it doesn't leak, which is really nice, so I don't have to use that bilge pump very much. I went to the co-op and got these tires installed, new this year. That way there's no dry rot going on. I've taken this boat up to Minnesota a couple times, and they're just normal utility trailer tires. Looks like they're 80 R13s, and then they're Omni Trail brand. Another fun project that I did was replacing the bearings in the trailer, and then I also put these buddy bearings on top so it constantly feeds grease to it. But yeah, that was a project, and I also used YouTube in order to find out how to change those bearings out. But now it runs well. Before, the bearings had, the inner seal had been leaking. There was water getting in there, and the grease was just getting shot really quickly. But now it's pretty sealed, and I'm confident going down the road nothing's gonna blow up, or the bearings aren't gonna go bad, and the wheel's gonna shoot off, or anything crazy like that. So as you can see, there used to be decals here. My lovely wife helped me take them off because they were really beat up. They were brown, and it said Fast Tracker right here. I don't know if you can see that very well or not. But we just used a heat gun and like a knife to kind of get that off. There's still a little bit of gumminess there, but it just really cleaned it up. Ultimately, I kind of want to shine this aluminum back up using like a buffer pad or something, but that might be a project for next year. For the time being though, it's clean and it doesn't look as bad as it used to. Place my numbers over here, and I did a little American flag, and then my registration on the boat is current for this year. Another big project that I did this year was the trailer used to be white, and it was getting a ton of rust, and it just looked really bad. So what I did is I took a drill with a wire brush on it, and I just went to town on the trailer. I probably spent 2 or 3 hours just wire brushing all of that rust off, so it got down to the base aluminum, and then I repainted it black. I did a white primer, and then I painted it black after that. And the rocks tend to chip it, but that primer really saved me. It's been sticking on really well. It's just a basic Rust-Oleum black paint that I also got at Menards. Really happy how that turned out. I replaced these lights because these were busted. Also got those at Menards. Just little utility lights so that at night you can at least see your side rails, which will tell you where your wheels are at when you're taking corners and whatnot. And then I got this off eBay, just the Bass Tracker logo, just to get some sort of branding on there too. But that's just a vinyl sticker, and it's done really well. I've got my extra tire bolted on right here, and yeah, that's really it. This boat is awesome for somebody who's on a low budget, don't necessarily have a ton of money to spend on a brand new boat, but this boat's been on large water, it's been on really, really shallow farm ponds as well, and that's a benefit of having a flat bottom boat. You're not necessarily sitting with a deep V where, you know, this thing can go in a foot of water. I can get it to move. So that's nice. It allows for a lot of mobility and a lot of flexibility when fishing smaller bass ponds here in Nebraska. Beyond that, that's it. Really happy with this boat. Let me know if you have any questions. I love working on it. It's a fun project to always have in the garage, but I'm actually putting it in the shed for the winter, and it'll be ready to go this coming spring, and I'll get out and try and catch some more fish. So thanks for watching. I do appreciate it, and we'll catch you later.